to go. Now it is now 6:01. Let's do this.
Okay, I just started my stream,
Okay.
and
Okay.
brought my
Good.
guest guitarist back.
All right, good. That's nice. All right. I'm going to try to add try to add a couple people in here. The one ones I know that are available is Raka and a YR. I already messaged YR to see if he wants to come on the show again there. Good afternoon, everybody, or late afternoon. It's Arknolia and the Doctor, our 40th episode of our Music Memory series. And we are, of course, continuing our discussion on the 1970s music world there, where we discuss the individual artists who came
Well,
from
we got
bands.
lots more of them.
Yeah. We still got to get to the R&B stuff there with the individual artists like acts that kind of like the one-hit wonder stuff, like the love songs, the artists like Chris Rea, Barry Manilow, the Carpenters, the soft rock stuff there. We should
Yeah,
definitely touch up on that stuff because as of late I've been listening to a lot of that stuff for some reason, because of all the intriguement around those songs. You can't help but wonder how that was arranged, the lyrical content, and everything else.
yeah. There's a lot of artistry winning those songs, whether or not you liked them or not.
Yeah, a
There's
lot
still
of
a
them.
lot of artistry.
Yeah, a lot of artists. So you read when you listen to the songs on YouTube, you read the comments underneath. They'll tell you right there. This was real music back then, not none of this auto tune crap that's still out there right now.
Yeah, and speaking of the Carpenters, I mean, who has a better voice than Karen Carpenter?
I couldn't agree more. She was a one top phenomenal singer there. And and also let me add this to say it was her 82 death that brought anorexia into the light.
Yep.
Now, because back then it was like a very quiet, touchy subject to discuss until her death. Just that's when this whole thing started rolling.
Yeah, and it always astounded me because she didn't look like she needed to lose weight to me.
I know. Yeah, I know, but then again, that's the kind of mentality that people put on girls nowadays. So they must be thin, you must be this, you must be that. They do it in the fashion world, they do it in everywhere else. I mean, like for instance, like you remember what the flack that Tyra Banks got when she was photographed, with a little bit of weight on her,
Yeah,
and a lot of people were they're just coming down on her because it's that public expectation that comes along with it when you're a celebrity. It's happened a few times with Axl Rose. It's happened a lot with Vince Neil of Motley Crue. They remember the Vince Neil from yesteryear when he was fit, trim, ready to rock out on the stage, and they see all of a sudden now they see this big beach ball with a big overweight T-shirt on it. And it's like holy cow, what the fuck happened here?
it's just one of those things about getting old, I suppose.
I know, and but for people like myself, it kind of like makes me wonder. It causes me, to keep myself to watch what I eat and watch what I intake a lot of times because I've seen so many older people that I used to be thin back then be gaining a lot of weight. I guess it's part of the process of growing old, but at the same time, for people like me, after seeing people grow old, you develop all these problems, you develop all these issues here. It kind of makes you wonder, makes you wish you were not old.
Yeah, but it kind of happens to all of us, you know what I
I
mean?
know that's I mean, unfortunately, I mean, you end up wearing your reading glasses sooner or later in your life. You end up, having to have dental work. A lot of issues here, whether it's type 1 or type 2 diabetes.
Yeah,
You know,
and your kidneys failing, so you have to have dialysis.
I know. Yeah, that's a bummer as well. Remember Vanity, Denise Matthews, Prince's ex-girlfriend for Vanity Six.
Yeah,
She was on dialysis for a long periods of time. I'm not. I think it was in the around the 1990s she was going on that because all the amounts of drugs that she was doing during the 80s heyday.
yeah. Well, generally, once you go on dialysis, you're pretty much stuck there.
Wow. So it's a lifelong thing there.
Pretty much. I'm in my
Wow.
almost 4 years, third
Wow.
year. And
Wow,
that's what
that's
my
something.
surgery today was all about, was to not get too gross. They have to stick you with needles to
Wow,
pull your blood out and cleanse it, and then put it back in. Now, obviously, you can't live without blood, so it's a
that's
process.
true. Yes,
But at any rate, I went today because my old access in my left arm had quit working, so they had to put a temporary thing in my chest and put a new one in my right arm. So I had to get a new access in my right arm today.
I see there.
But it turned out okay.
Well, that's good to hear, man. Because I thought at first you maybe needed bit some a whole day to recover from a surgery. Because
Well, I'm okay. I mean,
hmm
I'm still recovering, but it's not bad. And you got Casey as raw in your chat.
I see, Casey. Carol, hey, want to call in the show, Casey? We do what we like to welcome a lot of guests here,
Yeah, we're doing solo artists if you're interested.
and I'm not taking this call. It's from Florida. It's probably a scam ass call. I don't think so. Fuck you. You're gone. Bye. Yeah, I
And
still get. I go ahead there. Sorry, man.
we'll start this one off with kind of a bang. Because despite the fact that this guy was basically in groups for the most part, let's face it, he was the guy. And that would be Paul McCartney.
Oh yeah, two bands, the Beatles and Wings.
Yeah, and we'll cover the post Beatles stuff with him.
Yeah, and he's also considered the UK's most richest musician.
Not surprising.
Yeah, and not just and also not just because of his business dealings. He also owns his own catalog, by the way, for those who didn't know.
Yeah,
That's it. The MPL Communications, I think it's called, that he did with Wings in his solo career. That's him.
yep.
Because you remember he's been how many years unable to buy up the Beatles catalog, for throughout the most of the 80s there. Capitol Records just didn't want to let that go because that's their main bread bringer. When do you think about it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like they've had any other artist that's done that well.
Yeah,
But at any rate, my number 10 is coming up.
from 1980. Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
I first heard that song back in 1979. Now he performed that song at a thing called this a benefit concert over in
Yeah.
England. Yes, I forgot what it was called, the Rockestra, I think it was.
Yeah, I think so. And the
Um,
version I like is if you ever bought the album,
yep,
they had a live version in there on a single.
yes.
And that version is superior.
Yeah, I heard it many times. If you ever saw the video for that, you could see Paul and Linda dressed up as all these icon of the performers, posing as Jethro Tull's Ian Anderson, Frank Zappa, Sparks, that that Two Brothers group, I think it's called, had that
Yeah,
one
which
song.
was a
Yes,
bizarre group, but I liked them.
yeah, yeah. And there's a documentary on that group coming out pretty soon,
Yeah, the
believe it
two
or not.
brothers were so radically different on stage, it was unreal.
Well, shout out to YR in my chat. If you want to join the call, dude, I left a message for you, seeing you want to be a part of it.
And while we're waiting for his response, my
Uh,
number 9 song is Beware My Love,
I
which
think I heard
actually
that one.
it's on a McCartney album, but I don't think McCartney sings it.
Mm, somebody else does?
I believe so.
That's that's something interesting.
But it's a great song. My number 8 is Band on the Run,
Oh yeah, one.
which we know what that song's about.
Yep, absolutely.
Number 7, I got his Uncle Albert Admiral Halsey.
Oh yeah, that. Yes, I heard of. Yes, I remember that song. That was like a two-part. It was like a two songs into mixed into one there.
Yeah. My number 6 is Rock Show.
Mm-hmm.
My number 5 is 1985.
From the Band on the Run album, just as well.
Yeah. Number 4 is Maybe I'm Amazed, which that's a fantastic song.
It is still played to this very day. That's from the album simply called McCartney, which came out alongside the Let It Be album.
Yeah. Yeah.
And apparently, what the story was is that John and George sent Ringo over to Paul's house and possibly asking him to push back the album for a little bit, for a long while, till after Let It Be comes out. Paul got upset and yelled at Ringo to get the F out of his house, kicking him out, and that was the end of the Beatles right there.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Number 3 is a song called Looking for Changes, which
Mm.
is a animal
Wait a
rights
minute.
song, I guess you could call it.
And I think maybe YR or Casey calling on them. Tell you what, let me blah 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 blah. Let me dang gummit.
And my number 2
Yep.
is Live and Let Die,
Oh yeah, we
which,
know that song.
if you
We
ever
love
heard
that.
the version of Paul is live, that is phenomenal, especially the fireworks.
Okay, hold on a second.
Okay. Okay, what is that? I already have you. Am I supposed to answer this?
You on with the list? I mean, because I want to get into that Megadeth stuff. It's
All
big
right,
news.
definitely. We'll definitely get to that after we're done with here. And we got Arky back now. I added him to the call. My schedule.
Arknolia, what's the theme for the list this week?
We're still on solo artists.
Of the 70s?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
fixing to do my number 1 for Paul McCartney.
Oh, all right, go ahead.
My number 1 by him was "Let Me Roll It." That song to me is phenomenal.
Yes, I mean and that's also from Band on the Run, just as well, if I'm correct.
I
Is
believe
that
that's
about a bloke?
I believe so.
Okay.
You also cannot forget silly love songs there.
well. There's a bunch of songs I didn't have on the list that I
I
like, but
know that's one of the prime reasons why I didn't, why it's hard for me to do lists, man.
well, there was, let's see, Another Day, Getting Closer, Old Siam, Sir, Arrow
Oh
Through
yeah.
Me,
Hmm.
Lonely Night, London Town with a Little Luck.
Oh yeah,
I
great
mean, I
song
can go,
there.
I can go on and
Listen to
on.
what
Too
the
many
man
people.
listen to what the man said.
Yeah,
That's a good one there.
yeah. I mean, ton of it, but I didn't want to go all day on Paul McCartney. Although it would be easy to do.
Yeah, it would. And be a lot more live to do because interesting to do because he's got so many good ones out there. And what
Okay,
about the
now
eight? What about? Oh no, go ahead.
uh, the four Beatles, their solo careers.
Yes.
Okay, there's two different questions here. One is who was the most popular, which is easy, and the second one
Paul.
was who was the most impactful.
I think they're probably
John Lennon, huh?
what up?
Like impactful in what way? On the music or like the culture of
Well, a
that?
lot of who had the biggest impact, and I agree with what you just said.
Something like
John
John
Lennon.
on the culture, and then on the music, Paul, because obviously he had the best solo career.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true. I mean, what he merging from this influential, successful group into another successful group, morphing it into his own, and it was interesting thing to do.
yeah, and it's we don't want to forget the other two because they George and Ringo both had stuff, and
Yeah,
actually George had a
that's
pretty
true.
good catalog too.
Absolutely.
Or
So
and then the Traveling Wilburys with George Harrison as well. That was an all-star band. I mean, not an
yeah,
all-star,
it
but
was. Yeah,
and it was an all-star group. It was like a major.
It was
What do you
kind of
call
a
those
Made
groups?
super group.
Called
super
super
group.
group.
That's what they're called. Yes.
Tom Petty, Roy
Tom,
Orbison.
Bob
Jeff
Dylan.
Lynne and Bob Dylan as well.
That was good. They only had one album, right?
Well, they actually had two albums.
Yeah,
They had Volume One, and they later had Volume Three a couple years after Roy Orbison passed away. That was a four-piece,
I think my favorite by them was "Handle with Care." That is a great song.
which often still gets played on the often these supermarket radios when you think about it, and a lot of times on classic rock stations there.
Yeah, and then despite the fact his catalog is small, Ringo had some pretty good stuff. It
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't
he did.
it don't come easy.
Yes, remember that song.
That's probably his biggest.
You're 16, which I understand
Yeah.
was a cover tune.
Yes, it
The
was.
No No, the No No song there.
Yeah. And I think Hoyt Axton wrote that one
Yeah,
because Ringo didn't do much writing.
yeah, that's true. He wasn't that much of a writer. I think the only one we know of that really contributed writing skills was on the White Album, the song "Don't Pass Me By."
Yeah.
Rainbow Star All Star Band.
All-Star Band, yeah.
You ever saw it? Did anybody ever see that when he went toward the yearly with that? Because he would have all these all stars within his lineup. He would have Peter Frampton, Greg Lake, rest in peace. He would also have many others as
We had
well.
Paul Schaefer on there. The
What's
drummer.
that?
One of those celebrity drummers for the Tonight Show, I believe, was he has like a couple drum sets up there or something too, right?
Mm. Well, the only one celebrity late night drummers I would know of would probably be Anton Fig from David Letterman and Max Weinberg and as well,
Yeah,
who also plays with
Weinberg, I think.
Springsteen. Of course, that would be the only two
Weinberg.
that I know of.
Max Weinberg, yeah, see, I think he's in the All-Star.
Yeah, I think he toured with them at one point. It's hard to keep track. So many of them had toured with Ringo.
Yeah, his all-star band changes a lot.
I think he also had Billy Squire in there for a while, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a guy that was having a great career and one video killed it.
I know. I heard about that as well. It's like, holy fuck, it's just, it's kind of cheesy, but it's kind of gayish in a way when you watch the original video there.
Yeah, and it's a shame
And the
because he
video,
had
and
some
the video,
great stuff.
absolutely. The album Enough Is Enough from 1986, one of my absolute favorites from him. The whole album in general.
I don't remember if it was the first one or the second one, but I liked the one with I think it was Don't Say No, which had the hit.
The Stroke.
Well, yeah, but I was thinking the other song.
Let's see. In the Dark.
Yeah, In the Dark.
Yep, that's Don't Say No. That was one of the big records around that year. Almost every lot of songs were played on that, on the old MTV and on the radio at that time as well.
Of course, we'll get to him in the 80s.
Absolutely.
And on McCartney, we're going to make a huge jump.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be another Paul, but it'll be Paul Simon.
That's right. He had some good he had some interesting stuff in the 70s after his split with Art Garfunkel there, no doubt.
Yeah. My number 10 by him is Gone at Last. My number 9 is Love Me Like a Rock.
Ah, nice.
My number 8 is Me and Julio Down by the Schoolyard, which I'm not real sure what that song's about, but hey, okay.
But I remember there was a video for that song promoted on the VH1 channel, I guess, for this box set, doc that he had just put out at that time, I believe.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
what year is it? Is it early 70s for
Mainly the 70s.
All
And-
together from
yeah.
the start to finish there.
Now, we'll dabble into the 80s occasionally on some of these guys, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep it 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My number 7 is Late in the Evening.
Yep.
My number
Great
6
song
is
there.
actually a reunion with the other guy,
Art Garfunkel.
My Little Town.
Ah.
And my number 5, I can't read. Let me try again. One man's ceiling is another man's floor.
Interesting. Interesting title there.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of I like songs like that. I don't know why.
Yeah. Probably
But
because of the title, it lures you in to see what it's about there.
it's a pretty neat little song, actually.
Yeah.
Number 4 is Still Crazy After All These Years.
Mm-hmm.
I can relate to that one.
Yep.
Number 3 is Mother and Child Reunion.
Nice.
Number 2 is Kodachrome. And my number 1 by Paul Simon, Slip Sliding Away.
Nice.
Interesting.
That's a nice little song too.
Yeah. Here's
He
an
had the better.
interesting. Here's an interesting fact you may not have known. You remember an album from '84 he put out called Hearts and Bones? That originally,
yeah.
originally, for what I read, was supposed to have been a Simon and Garfunkel reunion album, but
Wow.
I don't know, for some reason, Simon removed all of Art's vocals from that album there for some reason. I don't know if it was falling out or something like that, or something, or we don't know.
Let's see. Now we're going to jump to the other spectrum again. And this guy
Yep.
was tough because, well, he's basically a solo artist, but
Yep.
he's been so many places, so many things. Who knows? Neil Young.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. He's done a lot. He's definitely trudged over a lot of genres, especially in the '80s. There, when you think about it.
Yeah, I put him. I, I did 15 on him because it's pretty hard to not do 15, and obviously I left stuff he did with other people. Well, when I say with other people, I mean the obvious group stuff. There's no CSNY, anything of that nature.
Yeah.
Okay, my number 15 in his solo career was See the Sky About to Rain.
Hmm.
My number 14 was Old Man.
Oh yeah.
That is a
Still,
good song.
that is still played today on classic rock stations when you think about it. There.
Number 13, I've got his Words Between the Lines of Ages.
Mm.
My number 12 is Heart of Gold. My 11 is After the Gold Rush, which is an interesting song.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Title cut of the album there.
yeah, and there's a group called Prelude that did a cappella version of that song that's fantastic.
All right.
Number 10, The Needle and the Damage Done, which
Which which was written about one of his Crazy Horse bandmates ODing on heroin.
yeah. My number 9 is a song you possibly have not heard. It's called Last Dance. It's on the Time
Oh,
Fades Away. Say that again?
Is the artist Neil Young?
Yeah,
Yes, absolutely.
it's called Last Dance, and it's on his Time Fades Away album.
Wow.
My number 8 is, gee, I don't know how to say this without uh, fucking up.
Without messing up the title there.
Well, no, it's one of those kind of titles. It's a song
I see.
called Fucking Up.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh, I remember hearing about that song, man.
It's a great song.
It is, yeah. Oh my god. And that came out in the '90s, believe it or not.
Yeah, I believe so. Well,
Yeah.
Young spans a long time.
Oh man. I remember the period around when the grunge alternative scene was really moving. All these grunge artists were looking up to Neil Young as like their
Especially
god,
Pearl
because,
Jam.
yeah, absolutely. Remember they did an album together called Mirror Ball.
Yeah. And my number 7 is My Hey Hey, the rock version. Because
Oh
he
yeah,
also does
from Rush.
acoustic with Hey Hey My.
Yes. I think it's Hey Hey My Rock and Roll Will Never Die, My Hey Hey Rock and Roll is Here to Stay. The acoustic version is the second one I mentioned there. And who cannot agree that song kicks total ass, especially the sound of that guitar. I tried many times to get that I would try many times to duplicate that sound on my old cheap amplifier guitar there. You know, I still wouldn't know how he did it because he had this massive, rusting, dirty, massive, grungy sound that he had
Which
on that.
is what made it cool.
Absolutely.
And my number 6 is a jump, because this guy covered a lot of genres. There's a song called Sample and Hold.
Oh, yeah, Trans, the album.
Yeah, I don't know why, but that song really appeals to me.
You check out the live version recorded from Berlin in '82.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
a live version. Yes, that was a lot more better. I heard the original, the album version. It's pretty good there. And by the way, you got to give him, as we know, a lot of credit for. I guess that album, Trans, was inspired by his son. Using this electronic device to communicate, for I understand it. That's where he got the idea. And plus, you got to remember the scene that the 80s was changing over. So he had to kind of like get in with touch with the new genres, the new scene at that time.
And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the video you were talking about, of the guitarist was Nils Lofgren.
Yeah, the other guy that he co-shares computerized vocals with, vocoder vocals, I could say.
Yeah. Okay, and then my number 5 song is his cover of On Broadway. Really great version. And let's see, number 4, you're on here somewhere. Oh, there you are. Like a Hurricane.
Oh, yeah. Which Roxy Music covered years later on throughout the 80s there.
Yeah. And my number 3, Down by the River. Number 2 is Rockin' in the Free World.
Oh, yeah.
And my number 1, when it came out, and it'll probably always be my number 1 by him, is Cinnamon Girl.
Oh, yeah, we know that song pretty well.
Because that one is just, to me, is just a burner.
It is
a great song.
It is.
But there's a lot of Neil Young that I obviously didn't mention, but holy cow, I mean, really. You can take the almost entire After the Gold Rush album. He also is the guy that wrote Love is a Rose.
He also wrote A Lot of Love, which later got covered by Nicolette Larson.
Yeah. And he had The Loner, which was a great song.
Yep, as well.
Last Trip to Tulsa, which was an interesting song.
Yep.
And then, of course, his supposed feud with Lynyrd Skynyrd. You had Alabama Southern Man. And after they did Sweet Home Alabama, he did a song called Walk On, which is an answer to the answer to the answer.
Oh, yeah.
And it turns out when you read about it, they were actually pretty decent friends with each other. They,
wow.
it didn't sound like it, but well, they didn't make the feud up. It started that way, and then Neil Young was kind of like, oh, I think I goofed. And he talked to him, and they said, hey, Neil, we respect you and all, but, you don't need to be talking about us Southern boys. We're not all like that. And he said, you know what, I'm wrong. And basically, they became friends.
Yeah, that's good to hear, because I always wondered about that particular lyric in that song. That's are they taking shots at Neil? Because I figured it had to be because of the Southern Man song there.
Pretty much. But again, like I said, after they talked it out and all, Neil was kind of like, I was wrong. These guys are good.
Yeah,
I like them.
That's good, Too bad they could have shared the stage together at one point,
Oh, I think they eventually would have.
Yeah, would have, yeah. In fact, in the sense of, but however, it would be the sense to have Neil Young make an appearance with the today's Lynyrd Skynyrd.
No, that wouldn't do it. It had to be Ronnie Van Zant.
Yeah, absolutely, and sadly, Ronnie is no longer with us since '77 there.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's take another leap
Mm-hmm.
from Neil Young to Gordon Lightfoot.
Oh yeah.
Of course, they're
There's a
both
few
Canadian.
songs he came up. Yep.
I got a top 10 for him, and it's kind of tough to hold it to that. But my number 10 by him is Canadian Railroad Trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
My number 9 is Sundown.
Yep.
Number eight,
Yes.
number 8 is Early Morning Rain, which Peter, Paul, and Mary did a cover of.
Uh-huh.
My number 7 is Beautiful.
Ah.
My number 6 is For Loving Me, which, again, that was covered by Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Ah.
A lot of his stuff was kind of covered, or,
There
you know,
was a dance cover I remember it was in by a group of female dance sub artists there. A couple I forgot there, but they did there. It's like a dance version of "If You Could Read My Mind," and that was supposed to go along with the movie 54, which was about Studio 54.
yeah. My number 5 is a song called Circle is Small. Again, a lot of times when I do these lists, I'm going to say songs that a lot of people haven't heard, but
Mhm.
it's basically a suggestion.
Yeah, we suggest you listen to these tracks and give your ideas on it.
Okay, my number 4 was Did She Mention My Name?
Yep.
My number 3 is Endless Wire.
Mm.
And my number 2 is If You Could Read My Mind.
Yep, as we mentioned there, good song there.
Okay, my number 1 should be pretty easy to figure out.
We all know, and I think I know which one you're talking about.
Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Oh my gosh. When I first heard that song, I was like, wow, amazed about the story behind it. It was based on a true story.
Yes, that's a massively powerful song.
And it's a sad part of Michigan history when you look at it, man. It was.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that
Can I,
where he's? Is that where he's? Vince it's Neil's from.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Neil Young's from.
No, it's not. It's not. No, you're talking
He's
about
not
the
from
Edmund.
Michigan.
Yeah, no,
Oh.
no. Gordon Lightfoot is from Canada. He wrote the Edmund Fitzgerald song was a it's a tragic story about the Edmund Fitzgerald ship, who sank during a massive storm in 1974, killing all 29 men aboard.
Yeah, if you want to hear a song that'll tug at your heartstrings, make you emotional, that one will do it.
It
can I
is.
say my favorite song of the 70's?
Yeah, go ahead, Keith. What's up? What do you got?
Nana Nana Hey 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 Goodbye.
I think that's
Uh,
from the 60s.
yeah,
No, it's the early 70's.
Who is it by? Who sings it?
Good question. Because I know
Steam.
it's still. Go ahead.
Steam.
Steam,
yeah.
the band Steam.
And
And
I know the chorus is cliche among people, but if you listen to the song from beginning to end, it's a pretty good song.
Yeah, it is.
And you know what's it's a lot more popular now because whenever a wrestler gets booted out of the ring there, when it's various WWE shows, the fans all sing that.
Yeah, and actually in baseball games when the reliever gets bombed and
Yep,
the manager comes to remove him, that song gets belted too.
no doubt
Yeah.
about that. Definitely.
I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking like if you just listen to the whole song on YouTube, it sounds pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dr. Brown, can you ban locking me up in the chat? It's probably I think it's Scott.
Oh my gosh.
Scott account.
Okay. Oh gosh. Scunty McCrunty is in the building here, and which we will remove. Bye, sucker. And he is gone.
I think it came out in 1972.
Is that true, Ark?
I'd have to look it up, but I thought it was a 60s song.
I
I'll
thought
look
so
it up
as
right
well.
now.
Yep.
Hold on.
Yeah, the Steam did it, but other people did too.
Oh, well, absolutely. They're probably, like I said, probably the
Oh,
most frequent.
it
Go
says
ahead.
19. It says 1969.
We were right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Was it
Came out
Steam?
during Steam.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. Point for me.
All right.
Yep.
Bergen Pop. Here it is. Yep, it is the band Steam. They're known for it by their song "Na Na Hey Hey Kiss 'Em Goodbye." The song was written and recorded by It was
I
blah blah.
believe
The
that's a
song was,
one-hit wonder too.
I believe so. Yes, the band was attributed to the band. The single was attributed to the band Steam, though at the time there was no actual band of that name.
Bunch of
A
studio
couple.
guys.
Yeah, that's what it
Oh.
was. It just came out of the blue and just boom.
All right.
So Keith, you took a shit. It was Saw Stool.
Yes.
Oh
Interesting.
my gosh.
I mean, that's usually it's hard stool, Dr. Brown. So,
That's some hard shit to deal with.
Seb, go ahead.
Okay, we're gonna jump to Gino Vanelli.
Oh my gosh, you got to get this man. He was like one of the. I remember one of the
Oh,
teacher.
he kind of goes into the '80s, but I think he got to start in the '70s.
He did, yeah. He had a couple of hits in the 1980s there. Black Cars and It Hurts to Be in Love, which is a pretty good song. I guess he's from Canada as well.
And I believe that's a cover of a Gene Pitney song.
Hmm. Which
If
one?
it's
The Black Cars?
No, It Hurts to Be in Love. Now,
Hmm.
Gene Pitney did a version of that song, but to be honest, I don't know if it's the same or not because I'm not familiar with the song. But my number 10 by him is a song called Mardi Gras.
Ah.
My number 9 is Jack Miraculous.
Hmm.
Number 8, I Just Want to Stop. Let me know if you've heard of any of these.
Oh yeah, I just want to stop. Absolutely, I remember you know what? One of my old teachers from the school I used to go to, I guess it was called Robinwood. She was bragging about Gino Vanelli's chest hair a lot of times.
Yeah. My number 8 was a number 7, actually.
Wait, is that the one? Is that the one where it goes, I just want to stop and thank you, baby?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, Keith.
Great
what?
song. Great song.
Wow. What year is that on?
Holy
And
cow.
I believe it was in 1978, if I remember. That's when I first heard of it.
My number 7 is a song you did called Mama Coco.
Hmm.
Ooh, great one.
My number 6 is Son of a New York Gun. Number 5, I think, was his biggest hit.
Son of a
People-
Negro.
Yeah, People Gotta Move.
Hmm.
My number 4 is A New Fix for 76. Number 3 is Carnal Question, which is another one of those anti-war songs.
Ah.
And number 2, this might have been the biggest hit, Love of My Life.
Ah.
And my number 1 is Beautiful People.
Ah. I remember hearing about that song many years back there.
Yes, not a lot of material for me to cover, but it was there.
All right.
But he was an interesting artist.
He was very interesting. He had this massive fro. He sang a lot of. He had an awesome voice. I believe he still does. I guess he still does shows here and there. I guess for what I understand, he did a performance at the place Dozy Dole a couple of years ago, which is a small little venue there.
And he was a keyboard guy.
Yeah. Mm. And when like I said, had that a couple of great songs there. Which to this day, there was also this jazz station back in the southeast area of Detroit. They would play I Just Want to Stop a lot of times.
Yeah. That was
It's a
probably his
great-
biggest, actually.
That was one of the best. In fact, when I first started listening to the radio, along with Fat Bottom Girls, Hold the Line by Toto, that was one of the songs included there, the songs I was picking up around that period there. This was back in 1978.
Yeah.
I just want to stop. Oh yeah, I was about to say that.
Yeah,
1978.
Yeah, that was a great song.
yeah. Another great song around that same year was by Chris Reeves, Fool If You Think It's Over.
Yeah. One
I
hit
was
wonder.
listening, yeah, I was listening to that song a couple times, last night before I went to bed.
Yeah, we could do a whole series on one hit wonders.
Absolutely, we got to sometime soon there. I still also want to get in touch with Dave Rose, do a special on Canadian artists, bands, and performers there. Rush,
UFO.
UFO's from England.
Well,
Are
you
they?
got Rush, you
Yeah,
got
they were.
Triumph,
Yep,
you got
Max
the Guess
Webster,
Who,
the Guess Who, Kim Mitchell,
Bachman
Saga,
Turner Overdrive,
Gordon Lightfoot, who we mentioned earlier,
Neil Young.
Gorguts. The band Gorguts.
Gorguts. Are they
Atlantis.
from? Are
Have
they
you heard
from?
Gorguts?
I heard the name a couple of times, so I haven't really listened to their music there.
The young guy in the band looks like Dave Rose.
Oh,
Chilliwack.
Chilliwack. I remember that a couple of that song, "Gone, Gone, Gone." I
Yep.
remember the video for that there.
Yeah.
The
Great
band Toronto. We got to give them acknowledgement. They had the song called "Your Daddy Don't Know" from 1982, and they were ones. They originally did the song "What About Love," which Heart would later cover a couple years later. In
Yeah.
1985 would become a big hit.
Massive by then.
Yeah. So no doubt the members of Toronto were earning big bucks when the Carts cover made it big in that year.
Yeah. What was that?
Oh, that what was what?
I keep hearing.
That's YR putting in one of the members of Gorguts there, and kind of does look like Dave Rose a little bit, but with a lot more massive hair, glasses
Yep.
More hair.
included there. Yeah, it does. Yeah,
He looks like him, right? From like
he
Yeah.
does.
Monetize
Well, with
His
all
So
that,
Dave Rose, Dave Rose used to have that hair.
yeah, I remember.
Dave Rose monetizes 55. You know.
Yeah, he had all that massive hair. In fact, when I first when I first came into this community, when you may remember on this other program which Ken was co-hosting, Joe Cronin calls in saying, "I want to talk to Dave." Dave, huh? Dave. It's like
Dave's
hey,
not
yeah, his
here.
name- Dave. We remember that one.
Yeah.
And I said, no, he calls himself Earl, but I know that's you, Dave. Because I resembled him in a lot of ways. You remember S.C. Steve kept calling me Dave Rose a few times.
But we know you as Doctor.
Yep. Dr. Rose a few times as well. He would do that.
JB from Grandma's Boy.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, did you catch that? Quick sidebar. Did you catch the Joe Cronin upload on the commentating? The heel.
I did listen a little bit earlier today there.
Well, towards the end, it's him and JB commentating. So I'm wondering if that's new or if that's just an old thing he put up there.
Well, no, they had an old one, but I haven't even seen it, so I don't know. I don't know.
Who's next on the list?
I got Kenny Loggins.
Ah,
I know one song from him, The Joker.
No, that's Steve Miller.
That's
Oh.
Steve Miller, dude.
And we won't cover him as a solo artist because that's just the name of the band.
Mm-hmm.
But we will cover him. Okay, as I name these songs, you possibly have heard of some of them.
Mm-hmm.
Number 10 I got is What a Fool Believes.
Which he co-wrote with Michael McDonald.
Yeah.
And
And
the Doobie Brothers would make it to a big hit there.
Yeah. My number 9 is Danger Zone, which is from
Top Gun, the movie.
Yeah. Number 8 is Footloose, which is from Footloose.
The movie of the same name.
Number 5 is I'm sorry. Number 7 is "Keep the Fire Burning."
Hmm. Yep.
Number 6 I got is "I'm All Right" from Caddyshack.
Oh
Kevin
yeah.
Bacon.
Yeah, and now how many songs have you heard by Kenny Loggins? I bet the list has gone up. And number 5 is "This Is It," which is also from a movie, I believe.
Not really. I think it was just a regular song there from the album, this the Keep the Fire album there. If I remember, that's the first time I heard of him. That, by the way, also featured Michael McDonald on backup vocals.
Yeah, my number 4 is "I Believe in Love." Number 3 is "Celebrate Me Home."
Yeah.
And I love you, kids on world.
Roadhouse. Wait, I found. Oh, it's Kenny Rogers, the gambler.
Yeah,
Yeah. I was gonna say.
Oh, you're talking about Kenny Loggins right now, right?
yeah.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
Number 2 is a song you did with Stevie Nicks, "Whenever I Call You Friend."
Yeah. Which was played a lot of times on radio.
And my number 1 is "Lady Luck."
Mm. I'm surprised. What's that one? It came out in 1985. Let me look it up there. List of Kenny Loggins.
I got a list.
All right, let me know. There's this one song I remember hearing called. Let's see. What the fuck, dude? Let's see here. He's still around. He records. I guess he did a song with Olivia Newton-John not too long ago. His earlier songs were recorded by the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band in 1970.
Julia Cooper is his wife.
Mm. All right. I'm looking at
He
one of
was
his
in the
albums
band
here.
The Electric Prunes.
Okay, that I didn't know.
No, I
He's
found
still
that
touring
song.
live today.
Yeah. It's the song I'm looking for was called "Love Will Follow."
Okay,
It came out in 19. A great song. A lot that Pillow Talk program I talked about that plays a lot of love ballads around 7 to midnight. They all play. You still play that song occasionally.
wow.
Steve Worry is an asshole. Journey is better off without him.
What? Who? What? Huh?
Steve Worry is an asshole. And
Steve? You mean Steve Perry?
yeah.
Yeah, Steve Perry.
Yeah.
Well, Journey, their biggest years were with Perry as the vocalist,
That is true as well.
but they covered the guy that got covered him well.
Yeah, the guys who are the two guys, Steve Algini and this this Filipino guy whose name escapes me.
Yeah, I mean they did a good job.
Lots
Yeah.
of ladies in the 89s. I mean 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny has a good voice and good at guitar.
And by the way, definitely mention that, no doubt, "Don't Stop Believing" being used in The Sopranos definitely kind of rebooted their career there.
Yeah,
What,
pretty
What
much.
guitar? Do you remember?
Neil Sean.
Neil Sean? Yes, a guitar player, yes.
Yeah.
The
He did
ladies loved Kenny. It was crazy.
They were crazy for him, Kenny Loggins. What guitar did he use?
It's just a usually acoustic and electric. That's about it. I'm not too sure what brand.
And we'll do Kenny Loggins again when we do Loggins and Messina later.
Yeah, absolutely. He's also known as the king of the movie soundtracks.
Oh yeah, he did a lot. Well, half the
Lots
songs
of
I
them.
mentioned
Yeah,
were from movies.
absolutely there.
Okay, the next one I'm going to move to is probably a guy you've heard of.
Yeah.
John Lennon.
Hold on. Fender
What?
Stratocaster Electric for Kenny.
Wow.
That's what he used, and then a Martin.
Yeah, Martin acoustic guitars.
Mm.
Who's the next artist?
A guy you probably heard of, John Lennon.
Oh yeah, the outspoken Beatle.
Yeah. Um, who I wonder just how far he would have gone had he not been tragically cut down, because that
I
guy was
know.
on a roll.
He was. He had just released a Double Fantasy, his first album in 5 years. He was on a new label called Geffen, headed by Devin Geffen, the same guy who started Asylum Records years before for the Eagles, Jackson Brown, Carly Simon. Well, Carly Simon was on Elektra, which helped distributed Asylum Records there.
Yeah,
Warren Zevon was on Asylum just as well.
yeah,
Yoko Ono supported Nam. Lennon was killed by a crazy fan. The crazy fan reminds me of Scott Psycho.
I know, yeah, and Yig has said it best. These godforsaken trolls in my chat. Probably Scott starting his bullshit there.
Yep. I know one song, Imagine.
well, yeah, we'll
Oh, there's lots more, man.
we'll get to
Okay.
that. My number 10 is Whatever Gets You Through the Night.
Which was done with which a duet with Elton John.
Yeah. And number 9 I've got is Nobody Told Me There'd Be Days Like These.
Yep, from that album Milk and Honey, which came out a couple years after his death. That was supposed to have been the sequel to Double Fantasy.
Yeah. And my number 8 is How Do You Sleep, which is his dig at Paul McCartney.
Yep, and the story behind that, I guess George and Ringo were playing along with that track. I guess it was either Ringo or George saying, "John, that's enough, okay? Let it go, all right?"
Yeah. Good song, though.
It is, you know. In fact, there was a dig. He took another dig at Paul McCartney. Because you remember, Paul McCartney had an album called Ram, in which he was holding the horns of a ram, and there was this photo that came out of Lennon holding the horns of, I guess, of a sheep, I guess it was,
Yeah.
or a goat.
Yeah. And my number 7 I got is Watching the Wheels.
Oh yeah, from a Double Fantasy as well.
My number 6 is Instant Karma.
Yep, still played on the radio to this very day.
Yep. My number 5 is Happy Christmas, the War is Over.
Which we all know which season that gets played, man. I'm losing my tongue tie. I'm getting tongue tied here. Which gets played a lot during Christmas season, as always, and there's lots of other covers of that to be in as well,
Yep.
including Melissa Etheridge at one point.
Do you
Yeah.
guys think John Lennon was a liberal?
Oh, to some
I
degree.
think he was, yeah, because he was anti-Nixon. That's for sure. There.
My number
Alright.
4 is Mind Games.
Yep. If you ever saw the official video for that song, it has footage of John Lennon walking around in the New York City there. Everybody running to him, getting autographs, That video alone shows how much Lennon loved New York and how New York loved him back.
Basically, it was his home at his last years of his life.
Yeah, he loved it. He said he had detailed a few interviews that he loved New York City. He could do lots more that he was unable to do back in England.
Yeah. My number 3 is number 9, Dream.
Good song there from the Wall and Bridges album from 1974.
My number 2 is Mother, which that's one of those songs when you listen to it'll tug because it's kind of
Personal.
it's very personal.
The whole album it came from is personal. It's called John Lennon / Plastic Ono Band. The content of that album was farly different than what the Beatles stood for. That was for sure, because this was one of his darkest albums.
Yeah, I mean when you hear Mother, You Had Me, but I Didn't Have You, and you can hear the
pain,
emotion and pain in his voice when he's singing that song, especially when he gets into it later.
Yes, towards the end there. And the guy's apparently what it was that he was involved in a therapy called the primal screen therapy, which patients, describe, and talk about whatever traumatic experiences they would that affected them, and the response would be a loud scream.
Yeah.
And the guy who I forgot the name of the doctor who does who came up with this theory, but he did write a book about this method. And guess what? The title was the book was Tears for Fears,
Huh.
which the '80s band would get, the '80s band of the same name would get their name from.
Yeah. And my number one should be easy to figure out.
Yep.
Imagine.
Oh yeah.
That's a hard song to top.
No, it is.
But that's definitely another good one.
And Scott, I know it's you in my chat. Get the fuck out of here. You're not welcome here. See ya. Don't want to be ya.
That's right.
Because he's going trolling over the shit here. I know if he's doing that either. You got cats chats.
Yeah, like crazy. That's why we have mods and shit. Do you have any mods?
I
Scott,
usually have
go commit suicide.
Yo, do you want to make Keith or YR a mod? Or
Well,
Dave?
I have Minnesota Vikings. He's in the chat. But he hasn't been doing that. He's live right now on this channel. He's either that or premiering something right now as we speak. So right now, and then plus, I've been doing a lot of moderating, which I don't really mind at all. I'm looking at it right now, and the shit and the titles he's been coming up with is just, oh gosh, idiot. All right.
Okay.
You said it best. Scott is attacking Shannon, Ken's wife, so Ken will attack his sister so she can take his side against us.
I didn't know there's any for or against, but hey. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my next guy is another guy you possibly heard of. Phil Collins.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Definitely got to give him credit. Massive amounts of credit.
In my humble opinion, lesser Genesis singer.
Yeah.
I know 2 songs from Phil Collins.
Okay, as I name them, I'm betting you it'll go up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Number 10 I got is One More Night. Number 9 I got is I Don't Want to Know. No, I'm sorry.
Good song there.
My number 9 is You Can't Hurry Love.
The Supremes cover.
Right. My number 8 is I Don't Want to Know.
In fact, the whole album, No Jacket Required, is pretty damn good as well.
Oh, yeah.
Very
my number
good there.
7 is Don't Lose My Number.
Mm-hmm. For the album, the same name.
My number 6 is Susudio. And my number 5 is I Missed Again. And my number 4 is another cover, A Groovy Kind of Love.
From 1988. Yeah, that was for a movie he did in the UK called Buster.
Yeah, that song is a cover of a song by the Mindbenders from the 70's.
Yeah.
That's the one I know.
Yeah.
Which is a great song. My number 3 by him is his cover of the Beatles song Tomorrow Never Knows.
Which is on Face Value, the last track of the album there.
Yeah. My number 2 is I Don't Care Anymore. And the number 1 song is pretty easy to pick out. In the Air Tonight.
Oh, yeah. Which you remember in our conversations before was used in a couple beer commercials and the Miami Vice show back in the day.
Yep.
And it's just really boggles me, that a song about his divorce, which was going on at that time, would later be suitable for a beer commercial.
Yeah, and that song has that little iconic drum bit about 3/4 of the way through.
Yes,
Everybody knows that.
Absolutely.
Why isn't Take Me Home on your list?
Missed it, I guess.
Yeah,
Uh,
and it
that would
was
be my number one.
it fits to say that that album that some of the songs that he wrote during his early sections of his solo career was filled. A lot of his love songs were filled with a lot of anger and a lot of upset because at that time, as I mentioned, he was going through his divorce. His wife got sick of him being on the road all the time. She decided to leave, go to Vancouver. He decided to move in with her, and try to work things out, which eventually didn't work out. I mean, songs like "Do You Know," "Do You Care," "I Don't Care No More." I guess "Can't Wait Till Tomorrow Morning." It's just those songs had a lot of angst within the lyrical context, and that was no doubt to be directed towards that ex-wife of his.
Yeah, that he was writing about his life basically.
He was, yeah.
Well, let's stay within that vein and go to Peter Gabriel.
Oh yeah,
Oh
and
yeah.
Bone Thugs and Harmony collaborated with Phil Collins, and they
Really?
made a home remix. Like they turned the song "Take Me Home" into a rap song, and then Phil Collins sang the chorus.
Wow.
That was in 2000 something. I think 2002.
Let me look it up there.
And while you're doing that, I'll start Peter Gabriel's number 10 for me is Biko.
The song "Home." Yeah, the song is called "Home."
Yes.
No surprise. I remember there was a rap group called PM Dawn that sampled the song "True" from Spandau Ballet, and in the video they featured Spandau Ballet's frontman, whose name escapes me, towards the end of the video there.
Oh, okay. I know one song from PM Dawn, "Set Adrift on Memory Bliss."
That's the one.
Oh, okay.
That's the one.
All right.
Okay, and then the next guy I got is Peter Gabriel.
Mm-hmm.
My number 10 is Biko.
Oh yeah,
Great song.
Written about Stephen Biko, the anti-apartheid activist.
Number 9 is Red Rain.
From the album Soul.
My number 8 is Shaking the Tree.
Which also was an album with title of his greatest hits album there.
My number 7 is his cover of Strawberry Fields Forever.
Interesting. Didn't know he did that cover there.
Yeah, there's a couple albums out that are guys covering Beatles songs, and it varies who does it, but he's in it, and a few others. Ambrosia covered Magical Mystery Tour. I mean,
Yeah.
there's some good stuff there.
Interesting.
Number 6 is Big Time.
Also from the album Soul from 1986.
Number 5 is Games Without Frontiers.
Oh yeah, that's the first song I heard from him. That came from the album known as the Melt album. What people don't realize is that his first 3 solo albums were all called Peter Gabriel. And when they got reissued by Geffen Records in the early 2000s, they decided to give it little title names. Like the first album was called the Rain album because he's sitting in the car while it's raining.
Yeah.
The second album was called the Scratch album because he's making the scratches in midair. And also the third album, the Melt album, was where half of his face is melted out.
Yeah.
And all those, by the way, Hypnosis, the design, the album, the cover design group that I mentioned, they were the ones who did those covers, by the way.
My number 4 is Salisbury Hill.
Another good one there.
Number 3 is Shock the Monkey.
Oh yeah, which I understand is about vivisection, if I understand.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, and this came out years before Skinny Puppy would come out with their '88 classic Tester, which was about the same subject.
Yeah. And my number 2 is Sledgehammer,
Hmm.
which has got the famous video.
Oh yeah. And
And
if it's to say that because when that video became a big hit on MTV, every other video that Gabriel released had to top that video, top
yeah,
one another.
and my number 1 song by him is going to surprise you probably.
Yeah.
In Your Eyes. That song to me is phenomenal.
Yeah, which by the way was got its boost thanks to the movie Say Anything from 1989.
Yeah, but that is just a great song.
Hmm.
I'm a fan of Peter Gabriel's.
Yeah, we are. A lot of
There's
people.
a
You got to.
song called "In My Eyes" by Stevie B.
That's not it.
Okay, that's a great song too.
And we're not talking about Stevie B.
All right,
Stevie B is a freestyle artist, and we don't do
yeah.
freestyle.
Okay.
And due to the lyric, and there's a story here about Shock the Monkey. Due to the title and the content of the video, the song is frequently assumed to be either an animal rights song or reference to the famous experiments by Stanley Milgram, described in this book,
That's not
Obedience to Authority. It is neither, though another Pete Gabriel song called "We'll Do What We're Told" from the album Soul does deal directly with Milgram. Gabriel himself described the song as a love song that it examines how jealousy can release one's basic instinct. The monkey is not a literal monkey, but a metaphor for one's feelings of jealousy. He also made mention that the song's lyrical motif was inspired by King Kong's lightning powers in the movie King Kong vs. Godzilla.
Wow.
And that's not the current Godzilla song that we have now.
No, we're going to kind of jump again a little bit. Not terrible. Peter Frampton.
Oh, yeah.
My number 10 by him is Won't You Be My Friend? And I'm going to tell you ahead of time, a lot of this is going to come from his live album.
Mm-hmm. Pan Frampton Comes Alive.
Yeah, the famous one.
Yep.
My number 9 is It's a Plain Shame. My number 8 is I Want to Go to the Sun. Number 7 is Doobie Wah.
Mm-hmm.
Number 6 is Lines on My Face. Number 5, 5,
Mm-hmm.
Baby I Love Your Way. My number 4 is I'll Give You Money.
Mm-hmm.
Baby, I Love Your Way was redone by UB40.
No, Will to Power.
Oh no, it was Inner Circle, I think. Or you?
Oh my God, Keith, that's you're bombing. And these are not scripts, by the way, Dr. Brown.
No.
This is Keith.
I know. This is why we need to have Keith on these programs more, so he would learn.
Oh no, it's Big Mountain.
Big Mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did cover. It's a reggae group that did cover their cover.
Big Mountain.
You're gonna remember the Will to Power version. Had the Will to Power version also had mixed in Freebird from Leonard Skinner within this, and the idea of that was simply she longs for his way. She longs, but the man she loves is a free bird, going everywhere he can.
That's interesting.
A true rebel, a free bird, yay!
My number 3 is Something's Happening. My number 2 is Show Me the Way.
Yep.
And my number 1 is, to me, the iconic Peter Frampton song, Do You Feel Like We Do?
Oh man.
I mean, my top 10, I named 9 off the live album. I think it's pretty obvious I liked the live album.
Yeah, we all do. Everybody does. That's the one that put him on. That's what put him over.
Oh, yeah. Because if you hear the studio versions of most of those songs, you'll go like, it's okay. But when you hear the live ones, it's like, oh, wow. No wonder they call it Comes Alive.
Because the live version brings out a lot more when you think about it there. You remember the Metallica Black Album? The producer that excuse me, Bob Rock, he was talking to the band Prayer to record that album. He said, "You never have a out, but you need to put out a record that sounds displays your sound when you're playing live." You know.
Right. Oh, before we depart, do you want to do two more real quick?
Yes, we can do that. Yes, and we also got to get into Dave Ellison from Megadeth being booted out. There, definitely.
Okay. Well, let's do two more and then get into that,
Okay,
which I
gotcha.
can't contribute to that at all. Okay, my next guy is Dan Fogelberg,
Oh yeah,
and I really like this guy,
yeah,
and we miss him.
yeah. He passed away. What year was it? In 2000s, I guess it was.
Yeah, it's been a while,
Why not? I forgot.
but he
Forgot year it was.
but he was one of the better mellow artists, I thought.
Yeah, I remember one of his tracks, "Longer," being played a lot. Same old Lang Syne, was a massive big hit.
Right.
Hard
Okay.
Hotels was a good one.
Yeah. My number 10 is Love Gone By. My number 9 is As the Raven Flies. My number 8 is his cover of Tell Me to My Face, which is Noel Hawley's song.
Ah,
My number 7 is Sketches,
mm,
which like I say, a lot of times when I tell you songs, they're deep cuts, but not always. Number 6 is Power of Gold.
good song there. Which I guess he did with a guy named Tim Westenberg, who I guess is a
Yeah, Tim
flute player. I
Weisberg, yeah.
understand.
Yeah,
Weisberg, yeah,
and that's a great album, actually.
really interesting. I should probably look it up. What's the name of the album there?
Twin Sons of a Different Mother.
I see. I should definitely check it out on sometime on YouTube here.
Yeah. And my number 5 is a song called There's a Place in This World for the Gambler.
Mm.
My number 4 is Phoenix.
Title cut from the album of the same name.
Yeah. And my number 3 is his cover of an old Cascade song called Rhythm of the Rain. Great version, by the way.
Interesting there. I can imagine it would be.
Um, my number 2 is Leader of the Band, which is a song that's a tribute to his father. Great
Yeah, I remember
song.
hearing about that as well.
And my number 1 is a song called Netherlands,
Mm.
which is a massive, massive type song. And I miss songs, I know. And there are other songs that belong on this, but I wanted to hold it down.
Yeah, I'm surprised the longer isn't, or Hard Hotel is the one I mentioned earlier, is not on this list because those are pretty good songs there, especially Hard Hotels.
They would have been at the bottom 5.
Ah,
They would have definitely been there. And I mean, like I said, I can name others. Same old Lang Syne.
there was this one I remember they did it. I guess it was his only music video. I guess what's it called? The Fortune of Love, I think it was called.
Oh,
If I'm,
God, let me think of the name. Power of Love. No, that's Huey Lewis.
no.
Uh,
Hmm.
Fortune of
Hmm.
Love. Lawyers in Love? No.
Okay, Dan
I'd have to look that one up. And there was
Bogan.
Part of the Plan, which I should have had on my list.
Let's see here.
Language of Love.
Language of Love. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, because I just looked at my list of songs that I missed, and Language of Love was there.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that was his only music videos. I guess it came out in 1982, from what I remember.
I think that's right.
Yeah. And he passed
So,
away in December of 2007 from prostate cancer
Yeah,
in his home in Maine.
yeah. Dan Fogelberg
we're,
was another one that was a phenomenal
we're
artist.
we're no longer talking about the 70s, right?
No,
No, we're
it
still
is
in
70s.
No, we're still on the 70s there.
All right.
Basically, it's people that kind of started in the 70s, might have bled over to the 80s or 90s.
Yes.
Okay.
And my last one for today is Dave Mason,
Mm.
who basically, for the most part, started with Traffic,
Yeah.
had his solo career,
And was
and then went in Fleetwood Mac for an album or two.
yes, he played with them on an album called Time from 1994, but it was not the Fleetwood Mac that everybody knows, Love by
No,
Heart.
no, it wasn't a popular album.
No, it's just probably just
And I'm pretty sure you guys have heard most of these songs. Number 10 is So High, You Got Me Moving.
mm,
Number 9, I got is Warm Desire.
mm,
I'm taking it you haven't heard of these. Number 8 is Look at You, Look at Me.
yeah, which we know well.
Number 7 is Only You Know and I Know, which actually Delaney and Bonnie did it too.
Mm. And that's the one. And that's the one that says we just we just what's that? Dang gummit! The lyrics just went. Um, I'm trying to remember how it goes, but it's been so long since I heard it. It
Well,
starts with acoustic guitar.
yeah, you don't want to hear me sing, but
All
it's
right,
basically
neither
only
do
you know.
I.
It's basically only you know and I know all the love
Mm.
we've got to show, or something like that.
Now I think it's something else. It's like "Been Away."
Oh, that's not that song.
Yeah, I was thinking it's something else there, because that's one I often heard a lot of times. There it came from an album he put out called "Alone Together."
I will probably mention that song, but I don't know that. Okay, number 6 I got is Every Woman. And number 5, you're there somewhere. Baby Please.
Uh
You
huh.
got me down on my knees, baby please. Or something like
Mm.
that.
All right.
Number 4 I got is Let Me Wrap You in My Warm and Tender Love.
Kind of like an Elvis thing there, though, with
Yeah,
that title. Mhm.
I'm trying to read my number 3. Mystic Traveler.
Ah,
And my number 2 is Seasons.
mm,
Our love comes in summer or whatever.
I
Uh,
see there.
my number 1 is a song that almost sounds Stevie Wonder. In fact, I think Stevie Wonder plays the harmonica in this song. It's one
I believe
called The
so.
Lonely One,
Ah,
which is,
Oh, let me.
oh, somebody's yelling.
yeah, I heard it as well. What's up, Keith? Is something happening there?
No, nothing. I'm just gonna do something real quick. I'll mute.
Okay. I'm gonna take a leak. I'll be right back, guys. You and I, I'll carry on for a couple of seconds, and then we'll get into Dave Ellison there.
Oh, okay. I mean, I got lots more solo artists, but we hadn't got time to go over them today. Or at least I don't. So are you there or am I alone? Apparently I'm alone.
Hey, I'm here.
Oh, okay. I wasn't hearing you. You must have been
Yeah, I
muted.
was on mute.
Yeah,
Yep.
the way you came back in sounded like mute button went off.
Yep.
Yeah, like I said, there's a bunch more solo artists. There's a ton of them. And we hadn't got to the female ones. There's a lot of big ones there. I mean, you got like Linda Ronstadt, you got Joni Mitchell, Judy Collins, which I don't have a list for her. Carole King, who was also a phenomenal songwriter. But there's some good stuff there. And then, like I said, we still got male guys to do. Male guys. It's kind of redundant. You're on mute again, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay.
I'll stay off mute.
Okay. Not what. Well, we sure got some interesting people in the chat, don't we?
Yo, is Dr. Earl taking a shit?
No, he went to
Nice.
take a leak.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, I got somebody saying here that even Monica can't watch this crap, yet he's here.
I'm back, guys. Man, you remember the phrase "my back teeth be floating" by Cheech and Chong years back?
Yeah.
That's what it was the same for me, man. Man, I hadn't peed since I got home, man. Wow.
Yeah. And Dave's still not here.
Dave who?
Dave's not here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I felt it.
That is probably my favorite Cheech and Chong bit.
Still, probably still love to this day.
Yeah. I mean, that one just floored me the first time I heard it, and
All right,
still does.
All right. Okay. Now,
Okay, we're
we got
going
to
to cut off on the solo artists and
here.
pick it up again for the next show because I got more.
Yeah. Okay, definitely. It will probably be this Thursday, and of course, why aren't Keith? We got to get you cats on just as well. Okay. Now we also got to talk about Dave Ellison of Megadeth being released from Megadeth because of these. Let me read the situation here that's going on here. Dave Ellison, the co-founder and bassist of Megadeth, was accused of grooming an underage girl through messages and videos online. We've seen that scenario been played out by other celebrities just as well. Austin Jones, a YouTuber, that did this, and a couple others just as well. Now, on his Instagram account, since he had made private, Ellison denied the allegations, writing that the clips were quote-unquote adult private interactions that were taken out of context and manipulated to inflict maximum damage to my reputation, career, and family. He added that the videos were released with ill intention of a third party who was not authorized to have them or share them. He also shared a screenshot of a statement purported to be from the woman in the clips, who said that she was not underage at that time and that the account of the incident may have been taken out of context. Now, the woman also said in a statement that she was always a consenting adult. In the end, it was all consensual and online. Now, it's just announced earlier today that as a result, Ellison has been let go from Megadeth. And here's a statement from Megadeth from Dave himself. Dave Mustaine stated, quote unquote, "We are informing our fans that David Ellison is no longer playing with Megadeth and that we are officially parting ways with him. We do not take this decision lightly. While we do not know every detail of what occurred with an already strained relationship, what has already been revealed now is enough to make working together impossible moving forward. We look forward to seeing our fans on the road this summer, and we cannot wait to share our brand new music with the world. It is almost complete." Official word from David Mustaine, the co-founder at lead guitarist and frontman for Megadeth as of today. Now, who do you think would be the next bass player for Megadeth? There's some speculation possibly Jason Newsted, who along with Mustaine was in Metallica for a couple of years, or actually more than Mustaine was, I should say. There's a talk that possibly Newsted may be taking Ellison's place.
Did you hear the rumor Gene Simmons, perhaps?
Rumor about
Wait, I got a little bit of an article about this. Should I read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
The woman involved also came forward to deny the suggestion that she was underage at the time of the video calls took place, saying